at the gates of the city, which would be the Troll Gate, because you guys are coming down the road that goes along the coast.
Helped
So-
some druids clear a road, killed some
We got
water elementals
very
and a bunch of
wet.
gators.
Very wet.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why you're headed this direction?
Man. Wait, don't tell me. It's because we have to get down to the monastery. So
That
that we
is
can
correct.
retrieve something. Yes, I am now.
Do we know what we're getting? Man, that feels like
No,
it's
you do
forever
not.
ago.
Yeah, I
we just
know it does.
because we're helping
Sildar.
Sildar, right?
Sildar has
Yeah.
not told you. You
You tell us when we'll get there, basically.
Mm-hmm.
you haven't asked.
Oh, well.
He may not know. He may know. But spoilers. He doesn't know.
Yeah. I remember he got like a mysterious letter and said like, "Oh, come."
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he had been given
somebody passed
orders,
it off. Yeah.
passed
He
on
was
by other
surprised
agents
because
of the
he
Lord's
usually
Alliance.
doesn't get. Yeah.
And we're just helping him because we're best buds.
Yeah. Broskies.
And,
No.
and I think we're getting paid.
That
You are. You
It's
are.
minor details. Minor details.
Well, has anybody?
That's
been
a pretty
paying
major
attention to their
detail in my
wallet
book.
lately?
Definitely not.
What
all
was that,
about the
Andriel?
money.
I don't think anybody's even been paying attention to their wallets much lately. But maybe here we could spend
I
some
have.
coin.
I have a little
There's just
bit.
been nowhere to spend it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the city,
I s-
folks.
I spent a lot on what was it? A mirror or something? Or magnifying glass, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
was super expensive.
Just out.
Hey, getting first of all glass and then have it shaped into that degree of detail in this sort of world, it's not cheap.
It's all worth it so you can be
I know.
Sherlock Holmes.
I know. I know.
Ooh.
I wanted to be very very investigaty.
Is there a hat store?
Maybe light
and
some
a pipe
ants on
store?
fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Maybe that was what it was really for. People think I'm smart. I just wanted to light some ants on fire with my
Well, that's his
magnifying
problem.
glass.
He feels inadequate as a dragon because
As a
everybody
dragon with
associates
no
them with
fire.
fire, but he can only freeze things.
Burn, little ants.
Oh.
Burn and feel the fire of a dragon.
You just see me in the corner, just laughing maniacally, lighting some ants on fire. Take
What's-
that, you puny
What's this
things.
little star in the bottom of the dock ward?
That would be a very familiar location to Bonner.
I mean, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is.
I
This is
think
your
he still
homeland.
doesn't know.
I'm,
Yeah, I
I'm
intentionally put that
assuming
there.
it is our.
That would be your
location.
establishment.
Yes.
And Nate said he's not. I told you he's not able to make
Oh,
it, so you can make decisions for him if necessary.
All right.
Oh,
he
the
gives all
residents.
his money and experience points to me.
Okay.
Concedes the game, creates a new character. Alright, so
Does any? I'll give it a minute. See if Gretchen. Can
are
come
we
back,
at the
but
troll? We're at the troll gate, right?
You're arriving there. Do you know who else is with you guys?
Yeah, there was a group that let us in that we met, kind of coming off the road, and then I believe them and Sildar.
Sildar, yeah, and some various traders as well as
Yeah.
Bedrick and the contingent of the Lion Shield Coster that had visited Vandalin, along with the gypsies. So you
Oh, yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah.
found them stranded.
Well, they were behind us, weren't they? Or did they? Oh, we found them stranded. That's right.
Yeah, you found them stranded in the middle of the marsh.
What gate
And,
are we at?
The troll gate.
The troll gate to the top,
Top
left.
left,
Because you guys came down from the
Northwest.
north along the
Ah,
coast.
if you will.
User joined your channel.
Oh, I will.
Get out of here.
Just want to say
Ban this
hey,
guy.
hey guys.
We
You're
don't-
neither
we don't
dungeon
accept
nor
your
dragon
Get
kind
here.
this guy out of here.
I'm gonna ban him.
All right, peace.
Later.
Here.
User
Later.
left your channel.
Oh, that was quick.
Here, maybe I can give us a little bit of ambiance.
Oh,
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah.
Oh,
Haven't played Sun and Moon.
No.
My copy came today, but I don't play it. I don't get to play it until Christmas
Why?
because it's my Christmas present, dude.
To yourself?
Well,
Oh, which
from Anna, but I know about it because
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
speaking of presents, that your DM is now in possession of wonderful things
Hey.
to throw at you.
Nice.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So if I'm flipping through this gleefully, you'll understand why. It's like, ooh,
Nice.
how now shall
Suddenly,
I destroy
Waterdeep is under attack by a legion of beholders.
Well, we're all gonna die.
Eh.
Legion is like
Well,
6,000.
it's time to use
of them.
my knowledge of any secret exits out of the city.
I have like I don't know like half the creatures that show up, so
That's
you guys
fine,
like
yeah.
you guys like see something like, oh, there's a guy holding an eye or something, and you're like, oh god, and I'm sitting here I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Do I shake his hand?
So,
Is there like a sorcerer district or something
Yeah.
in this list?
there are certainly some places that would be more
Interesting to my
interested in the arcane arts and such. That I think that'd be a bit of the, at least in the thing it says the Sea Ward.
Sweet.
Yeah, Waterdeep's wealthiest ward is notable for its many spired grand homes of nobility, including the edifices of the city's leading temples and the opposing towers of the city's premier wizards. So there's some magic users there, as well as the castle ward. There's Blackstaff Tower, which is sort of like the magical capital, or capital building of magic users in the area.
The Guild of Magicians.
Yeah, but it'd be sort of like, because of the location of Waterdeep, it is in the northern frontier, and because it's sort of independent and separate from the major nations on the continent to the west, it's a little more rough and tumble, not quite as organized. It's sort of a city-state, and because that, it relies a bit more on adventuring groups such as yourselves, to be able to do some of the guarding of the city or working for missions for the government. So that's where some of the magic users for hire would be getting the orders from. That there are sort of two government security details in the city. There's the city watch and the city wardens. City, which one is it? I think the city watch is essentially soldiers. They're just like guards, and the wardens are more like police officers. And just a second, remind me, Bonner, which was your father on? Was he a guard or like a?
Hold on, I'm looking right now.
Sure, it was in there because again, I didn't give you
The
this
city
lore
guard,
to
yeah.
city guard. All right. Okay, so as you guys, are you guys all set?
I'm gonna be
think
like,
so.
I just want to get some water.
Go for it.
I'm gonna grab a snack.
Really intrigued by these cave entrances.
Hmm.
Or yeah.
Yeah, there's a variety of things. Keep in mind that this is a very large city and a map that your DM did not make, so he may not have things prepared for every single.
Yeah.
Though technically, I've got.
I'm not gonna. I mean, my character technically wouldn't know,
Yeah.
like, that they're technically there. So I'm not
Does
gonna.
exist elsewhere. There's literally a thing with like, all of like the major buildings, literally like hundreds of things named out and what they are.
That's pretty crazy. Heroes Garden.
Alright. I'm good to go.
that's crunchy.
Aw, I guess I got muted.
Some crunchy water.
My Cape Cod chips.
Oh, now I'm
They're the
jealous. They are the best. Oh no, people are fighting in the city.
Oh, I think that's like a blacksmith sharpening things. Okay. I'll wait for. I can start talking.
Sounds like murder to me.
That you guys have spent the day traveling, fighting your way through the marsh. That it's probably late afternoon, probably about 4 o'clock. As you're seen in the distance, the Bonar and Thonar. This is familiar to you. Your home city in the distance. It's familiar walls and you're right next to the ocean. You can hear the waves and everything. And
Giant dragon appears.
yes, a giant dragon crushes the city. And you know that usually there would be people, even at this hour, probably going to and from this gate here along the North Road, called the Coastway, I guess. And currently you're the only ones coming in, and nobody seems to be coming out. As you approach the guard station there with the Troll Gate, as it's known, that guard who calls out is like, essentially sort of standard like, what brings you here? And Bedrick, the leader of the Lionshield Coster, says, traders that were caught along the marshway during the flooding. Yeah, and the guard says, I pretty much figured as much. You guys must have been pretty ragged out there. Come on in. So you guys get into the city proper. You go through the gate, little bit of the field into through the troll tower into the city, and you're in the seaboard now. This is sort of the rich, posh end of the city, and there's some more of the grand homes and some of the nice temples of the city are in this area. It's sort of the uptown area.
It's Palm Beach.
It's posh. Yeah, it's Palm Beach posh. Wait, you guys probably wouldn't want to aim for a night in any of those inns. But as you're entering the city, that Bedrick turns to the six of you, and he says that it'd be likely we'd still be stranded in the middle of the swamp if it weren't for you guys. That the Lionshield Coster, follow me to our headquarters, and we'll make sure to compensate you. That he probably saved a lot of our cargo and some injuries to our men. And so you guys follow him.
They have headquarters here in the city.
Yeah, they're a trading caravan that operates all up and down the northern frontier.
Okay.
The one in Fanlon was just like a branch.
Oh, they are franchised.
Yes, and the one in Fanlon was like a little teeny one. That they're one of the larger trading caravans in the northern frontier.
All right. So does he want to go there first thing? Is that what he wants to do?
I mean, that's where he and his caravan are headed to report to. That you guys are free to go wherever, but he is at least saying that. And if you don't want to
Catch up
come with
with
us
him at
now,
some
if you
point.
catch up with us later, that ask for me. I'll make sure to get you your due payment.
Do they have like a larger thing? Like, I'm thinking that probably the first thing we want to do, or that I would be thinking about, is somewhere to like stay before it gets super late. So like, do they have like a place where we could stay, or do we have to find somewhere else on our end? That sort of thing.
I mean, Bedrick says, we do have, the quarters for the other caravanners. I could probably pull a few strings if you needed to stay there. It's not going to be as comfortable as an inn per se, but
Cathod, no more fancy bits for you.
But I like.
Well, if we stay at an inn, are we getting reimbursed? It's like a business.
I'll take my
expense.
compensation at an inn at the seaboard.
How about
I
you
was trying
just
to
skip
remember-
the oatmeal bath for once?
Are they covering some stuff since we're technically working for them? Like,
I guess Sildar says, yeah, that the Lord's Alliance would be willing to pay for housing, but
nothing too fancy.
they're not gonna spring for for one of these establishments. You look
Would-
over and it looks like a mansion, but it is technically an inn, and you figure that's where any royalty or very rich folk might stay, where they
Was it
visiting
like a
Waterdeep.
golden night? I could deal with that.
Yeah,
Where's like a red roof inn we could stay? I'll ask him if he knows anyone.
Red Roof Inn?
Like, call
Daniel,
him.
what decade are you from?
that Sildar says, well, the northern end of the city tends to be where the rich folk are, that if you're looking for someplace a little more down to earth, it's probably going to be in one of the southern wards.
As long as I don't smell fish while I'm sleeping.
And you're probably going to want to avoid the dock ward.
I agree.
Alright.
Alright, so we'll find our own place and get our money back. I just want to get that in order since keeping track of stuff.
Yeah. And
Just expense that stuff.
Yeah, man.
that actually Castlewood would be decent. That you guys have been sort of heading along this main road going through the middle of the seaboard, heading south.
I just want to say that, like, my eyes are, like, huge, just round, and
Salzart,
freaking out a little bit.
and here's the thing: this is the most people you have ever seen in one place. They're literally like you can look down the road one way and back up the other way, and there are several hundred people within view.
And I am extremely uncomfortable with this fact.
And there's people going by with animals. There's people sort of well, not so many. There's like people ride on horses and stuff. You haven't really reached the blue collar district yet, that people wouldn't have their animals out here. But there's like cafes. There's jewelers. Clothing. Stuff that's like you have to have money to buy luxuries. That there's not too many like practical things. There's not like blacksmiths. There's jewelsmiths, but not like any blacksmiths or like food vendors. It's all like fancy cafes and restaurants in this area.
And are people staring at us? Do we stick out at all? Not really.
Most seem to be going about their business, but you do catch a few glimpses because you are currently the only like people that are traveling through there. Most people like seem to be living or operating their businesses here. That there's pretty much nobody else who is traveling down this road for the sake of like traveling through the city. I mean, there's other people going about business in the area, but you guys obviously look like you're headed to a different ward. Everybody else seems to be wanting to stay within, this area of the city.
Okay.
So though there are like a few wagons like delivering like food supplies to some of the restaurants and stuff, so there's like a few wagons going up and down, but you're the only ones who seem to be from out of town, and going through that. Bedrick and Sildar have been talking, and that both of them are headquartered within the castle ward. That let's choose a place for the Lion Shield Coster. Sure, they would want to be decently close to the market. There, and then let's see, the Lord's Alliance. Probably be closer to the government. That's there. That's the palace. We'll say that Lord's Alliance is headquartered. They've got an embassy or something down on there.
Cool.
Yep. Go there and you're going down the streets, and as you're passing by here, you see you can look into the area that's the market right here, and it's you guys have finally gotten to like the non-wealthy person area. There's like an open air market in here. There's all sorts of vendors with all sorts of stuff. Mostly a lot of food goods as it is approaching sort of dinner time, and people are offering not so much like raw goods like just like flat vegetables or raw materials to make food, but it's like a whole bunch of different vendors with sweets, with soups. There's like seasoned meats that are hanging from racks. There's all sorts of stuff, and it's all wafting past you. And it's for Salazar, this is overwhelming. It's so many different smells, so many different people that it seems to be about like 75 or like 60% humans, maybe about 10% elves, 10% dwarves, and then a mixture and muddle of all sorts of things. But there's a decent variety of the races within the city, but it's by a vast majority human.
I follow Cathod pretty closely.
Okay.
'Cause he
I kind of
seems
give him this look, like, what's going on?
Now,
like I'm shadowing him.
now,
Try not
Cathod,
to
have
step
you
on him.
been to many large cities? I know that.
No, I'm from. I kind of lived in the suburbs, and I kind of tried to stay away from people because
it's-
of my
Well, as,
reclusiveness.
Cathod, you notice that there's no like mouths agape, but you definitely do get quite a few stairs. And as you've been walking down through the street, Cryo has curled up on your shoulders and is like looking around, incredibly interested. But he's sticking right on your shoulder. So you've got the Dragonborn and then this little white pseudo dragon right on his shoulder, just like so curious, looking around, but not leaving your side at all.
I kind of give him a little pet. It kind of eases tensions and kind of like keep a lookout around me.
He lets out a little sort of croak, like, rubs up against you, and then keeps looking around.
I just thought it was just now, but what is this like? I mean, like port city? I'm trying to remember where it is on like the world map.
Yes,
Yeah,
if we
let me
want to
pull
go,
it
that the particular thing about Waterdeep, the reason it's known as Waterdeep is because it has a deep water port, and that the majority of trade that happens in the north goes through Waterdeep. Yeah.
I'm just thinking if I would have been here before, or if I would have been in Neverwinter, if that's port 2, because I'm from that other like continent.
Right. It's entirely possible that
I never thought of it till right now.
yeah, that traveling from where you're from, crossing the waters to get over here, you probably took a boat that might have come through Waterdeep, or at the very least you would have passed by it and seen it,
Yeah.
on the boat. But it can be sort of up to you whether or not you stayed in the city at all.
I think if anything, I just would have passed through it, because it's like, I don't think Elrond would have been quite as like freaked out as like Salazar, but he just doesn't care for it.
Yeah, it's
He's fine with it, but
yeah,
he's not gonna live there.
it's unfamiliar,
boy.
not
Yeah.
uncomfortable or threatening, but unfamiliar.
I lean towards Elrond and say, "How can so many people live in one place? Where does all their sewage go?"
I look back at him and I say, "You don't want to know the answer to that question."
I kind of do.
You guys also notice that the Elfbane brothers are completely at ease. They're just like, they're not. They're looking around, but they're not pensive. They're not.
I'm gonna kind of
flustered
ask.
at all.
I'm gonna ask them like, have you been to many cities like this? How many cities like this are there?
That I don't know. But this city,
Or would he know?
I do know pretty well.
You two
Oh,
are from
interesting.
here, yes?
Yes, born and
I don't think
raised.
Oh, so you probably
Oh.
would know a good place to stay.
Yeah, we
Well-
probably would.
Can
Can you get us a bargain?
Would he know a place to stay?
Do
Probably
we
somewhere
have-
in the castle ward? Somewhere.
Seaward, Seaward.
Yes. Right.
I say, you, Mr. Fancy Pants, you can go figure out your own Seaward
Oh man.
connections. Would we
Would
have, would our establishment have any sort of lodging capabilities, or
Um,
would we have connections to anything?
I think that uh, you would definitely have some upper rooms. They wouldn't necessarily be furnished with beds for everybody, but at least it would be a roof over your head, and you could roll out mats if you want. Actually, I would say you and Thonar would definitely have rooms there, because I'm assuming, is that your lodging as well as your base of operations?
Yeah, I guess that makes the most sense.
It would.
I'm
I
gonna
think so.
Gonna make an executive decision for the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
And yes.
Okay. So you know that you've got at least that it's home for you and Thonar. Your other employees, they don't sleep there, but they work there.
Mhm.
So you'd at least have some lodging. It'd be tight quarters for all of you, but you could make it work. You also know that there's a couple rooms in the second floor. There's pretty much the one room that is the first floor, and that is the business. And there's also the basement, and the basement.
I didn't see that wink at all.
Nope.
It
That's
was very
after.
subtle. I look at Bonner. I'm like, how does somebody like you, who has a last name of Elfbane, get along with people in a city?
Sorry. I just lost my train of thought. And I was asking
None of your
a question.
business.
What was? Sorry. What did it do? Now I can't even remember the
You
question.
want to know how somebody with the last name Elfbane would get along with people in the city, considering there's all types of races around.
Well, really, it's just a matter of necessity. It's good business.
How many elves have you baned?
You.
Answer carefully.
None that I wouldn't have baned if they were any other race.
That was. I didn't understand that answer.
Any elves that I've harmed, it was not because of their race.
I see. That fills me with some sort of calm.
I'm glad.
All right, so that
Well, we have Thonar and I have lodgings at our establishment. You're more than welcome to join us. It will be quite a snug fit for everyone, but if
Well, we could.
a couple
we
of
could.
you want to join us, and we can save some
I
money
mean,
on.
we wouldn't
The
have to
reptile
pay.
snores.
We're getting covered for wherever we stay. So if we want to be more comfortable, we can just.
Yeah,
They
I'm
were
going to
ever-
take my my earnings and try to find a
Well, we're-
suitable place.
We're getting
Okay.
reimbursed as long as it's not too fancy. But I mean, you guys can stay home and then we'll just meet up.
So you guys have sort of been moving with the Lion Shield caravan that some of the other traders and wagons have broken off and gone different places. But you've been moving with Bedrick and crew and Sildar, and you guys have going down this road that up ahead that there's a building that you see the emblem of the Lion Shield Coster, and it's got a whole bunch of different wagons there, and there seems to be lots of goods moving in and out, and that somebody more or less calls out to Bedrick and the guys and says, "Oh, we thought you were lost. Nobody's come through from the north for a while." And Bedrick says, "We almost were if it weren't for these folk." And then he sort of relays sort of the short version of how the waters had risen, they were stuck, they were being harassed by entities and stuff, and you guys had come along and taken care of it and helped the water recede and protected the caravan.
I'm gonna assume while he's telling that story, Thonar is kind of subtly in the background, just flexing.
All right.
I don't
Yeah.
flex, but I give meaningful looks.
And that
Yeah.
that the different wagons have pulled up, and Bedrick actually invites you guys inside, and make sure everybody's sort of he's like your evening meals on the line shield, and there's sort of a mess hall small in the area, and that you guys are allowed to help yourselves. It's not bad, but it's not like gourmet, but it's it's flavorful. There's good stew, some decent bread, and there's the other sort of rough and tumble caravanners that are very well tanned and from all sorts of places in the world. But you guys sort of get a hearty meal, and Bedrick tells the full story, and actually how he met you guys back in Fanolin, and a few things about this and that. And then, as you're sort of having your meal, that he slips off and comes back, and he hands each of you a bag of 50 gold.
Nice.
As well as he says, and included in each of those is a token of the Lion Shield Coster. Wherever you find us, provide that, and you'll be looked on favorably.
What is it?
It's just like a little token that essentially it's got the Lion Shield Coster emblem on it, and if you can put it in your inventory, Lion Shield emblem.
Yeah, I did.
And it's essentially a little token that they give out that this person is looked on favorably by the trading caravan. And so it's not going to allow you to buy anything with it, but it might help open doors
shows
or
you're, like,
give you a better
associated.
deal somewhere here or there. Yeah.
I look
So
at
right
the
now
meal.
we're at the Lion Shield.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I look at the meal and I look at who is it again? Bedrick?
Yes, Bedrick. He's the essentially captain of the guard of that particular caravan.
I ask, is this gluten free?
And he's sort of, he's like, oh yeah, you're from Aelin, or is that the name of? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know your particular customs and foods. Sorry, I can't help you.
I'm gonna kind of lean over to Bonner and ask him if we have to worry about thievery while we're in such a big town.
Well, yeah, you want to keep an eye on your belongings.
And I don't know, have I seen any like familiars around town, or is it kind of like
roll me a perception check,
okay?
and this will sort of be what you perceive as you're walking through town.
Okay.
Know that you saw a lot of fancy buildings. You saw some places that were definitely sort of like alchemy businesses that would have sort of dabbled in potion making, as well as you think maybe some of the jewelers and smiths you went by had some magical inclination, but you didn't really spot any major magical establishments or any animals that looked like they might be a familiar instead of just a regular city animal.
Okay.
And not that Thod would be too familiar what city animals look like, considering like
Yes,
any stray
true.
cats or dogs, he wouldn't know if that's normal.
One way or the other. Yeah. All right. What does it
Dog.
take to like unsummon and summon my familiar?
It's just an action that essentially
Okay.
whatever command you
It
want to
doesn't
give him, or
cost-
nope,
Okay.
you just have to take your action and you can
Okay.
sort of
I'm just gonna kind of unsummon him just so I don't draw any attention.
Okay.
and Cause
So-
any harm to him.
that a few people sort of look over their shoulders in the caravan, among the caravanners. You're inside the building, in the mess hall, but then you just look back and they make no mind. You don't even hear any murmuring. Then they're just like, oh yeah, guy with his pseudo dragon. So they've apparently seen a lot that they're not making too much of it.
Okay.
Yep. So
I kind of have a little take a sigh of fresh air, or I don't know, breath of fresh air.
Sildar says, you guys have been very accommodating. Thank you very much, Bedrick. I wish you well. I definitely need to check in with headquarters. It's just a bit down the road. I don't know if you guys want to stay here.
Oh
or-
wait, so is Lion Shield is like a branch of the Lord's Alliance? What's the relation?
Lion Shield, they are a business that
Oh, okay.
operates a decent amount in the northern
Oh.
frontier.
So Lord's Alliance is the
The
part.
Lord's
Okay.
Alliance is the government
Okay.
of the city-state of Averin.
And
It
so
is on a
that, so
different
that's
continent.
what. So Sildar's not necessarily related to Lion Shield. He was just traveling with them.
No, he was just sort of traveling with them.
Okay.
And
I
they
thought
seem to
related.
sort of be two the only existing authority figures within that caravan group you're traveling with. Bedrick was in charge of security of the caravan, and then
Okay.
Sildar is an agent of the Lord's Alliance. So technically, he's like going essentially to an embassy. That he doesn't have any like legal authority within the city.
Okay. All right.
So
I'd ask him if he wants of some or all of us to come since we're helping, because we're helping technically Lord's Alliance, right? We're helping him through the Lord's Alliance.
he has employed you. He says you can come if you want. It's probably gonna be a lot of paperwork and me explaining why I have a mission as well as requisitioning funds.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a bit. Actually, I probably have some stuff to prepare. I'd like to, if possible, head out soon.
I stand up and say, "All right, let's do this," and then I go and get seconds.
Okay.
Do you want to
And so-
leave the next day, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if possible, that at least from my orders, that was an issue of some urgence. We're not in a rush. If we want to take I'll have to check in. I might need a day to acquire some supplies. So we might spend the night, tomorrow, and the following day we'll set out to the monastery. You want to meet me at the Lord's Alliance
Okay.
2
In the
mornings
morning.
from now, and we'll
Oh,
head
2
out.
mornings. We
Well,
have
not
a
tomorrow
day.
morning.
The day after.
Yep, the day
Okay.
after.
Yes.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
we'll do that.
And he'll more or less give you directions of where it is. You have it marked in the map. You're not gonna have trouble
Yeah.
finding it. Bonner and Thoner would essentially know where it is. They wouldn't
It's
be
right
too
over there.
familiar with visiting it, but yeah, they'd be able to navigate the streets. This is not difficult for them. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: that Bonner and Thoner, even though you may live down in the dock ward, due to your connections in previous employment as well as current business, you sort of have ranged all throughout the city, so you're
I
pretty
mean,
familiar
mischief
with different
happens
places.
everywhere.
As well as it was non-mischief employment of your previous employer,
Of course, legitimate reasons.
who was rather well-to-do. So, having spent time in his employ, you would have been in the seaboard and northward on business rather than just passing through.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're pretty familiar with the whole range of the city.
Well, while we're like eating and stuff, just sitting down, I'd probably ask what they like about just more about their life, like what they did in the city, their business and stuff. But I don't know. Did he mention it or something? What I know that he. I knew he
Asking
lived
who?
here, but
The Elfmanes, yeah.
Bonner, yeah. It's like what they did here was like here.
Well, I mean, we grew up here in the city. Our father was a part of the city guard. He was killed on his watch when we were young, and so we both decided to train to join the watch. But while we were in our training, we got lucky and got hired by can't remember his name at the moment. Oh yeah, Lord Fartracker. He was a businessman and he wanted some bodyguards, and so we got to be his his right hand and left hand dwarves.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we got started. He is sadly no longer with us, and his son now
Did you
runs
kill
his
him?
company, and he's a real dick. So we kind of avoid him, but yeah, we started our own business. You may have heard of it. It's a delivery sort of business. It's called D6. It stands for Dwarves Discreetly Doing Deeds of Delivery and or Distribution.
Very clever.
So yeah, we provide secure and discreet transport of items and or other things. Whatever you may need to get from one place to another.
Smuggling. Sounds
Are
like
you-
smuggling.
Are you drug traffickers?
No, not necessarily. We just
Unless the money's good.
offer transportation services.
Tell me you've never transported a person.
Our policy with transporting cargo is don't ask and don't tell on what the contents is. We're very discreet. You'll notice
Like the
it's
movie.
You'll notice it's a second D in D6. Our discretion is second to only dwarves.
Was there a lot of what's the word? Do you go is there a lot of business in a city like this?
Yeah, well, a lot of business happens, especially in cities like this being one of the largest cities, and especially the only deep water port over here. You know.
Well, I mean,
there's-
more is there more of a need for such discrete types of business, which it sounds like you two are associated with
Well, I mean,
in this sort of city.
as opposed to
Elrine, just roll a history check from your knowledge of Waterdeep.
Alright.
Waterdeep definitely has a reputation. You would know enough that Waterdeep has a reputation for being a fairly bit rough and tumble, so it's not too difficult to conclude there might be need of such business.
Alright.
Or that type of business would probably be a lot more common here than other official cities.
Gotcha.
With
we're not
a
looking
full,
to
proper
branch out
government.
to Phandalin anytime soon, if that's what you're asking.
No, I just wondering about the city. I don't know. I don't think
This
you
is this is
care
a
one
filthy
way or
city.
the other. You just
There's
curious about the
there's enough
city.
business here, and business here is enough so that we haven't looked yet to branch out to other places. We grew up here, we know the area, so whether or
And
not, you know,
I
there are
believe
better
your
places.
business only started a few months ago.
Yeah, it's a very new endeavor. In fact, meeting you nice people was one of our first forays into employment post the death of our previous employer. So yeah,
Question: what were you doing in Neverwinter then?
Well, essentially, that you guys had known Gundren from something or other, and you were looking for a business opportunity to get more money to be able to help fund your business, and then got whisked away and caught up in all of those things. So now this is your first return back after heading out for that.
yeah, we haven't. It's not like we've spent our whole lives here in the city. We've traveled. We have a lot of connections through our previous work with different people, various places. Yeah, a lot of networking.
Mysterious.
A lot of networking.
You sound like a particularly slimy businessman.
You know, I just when there's a need and someone's got to fill it, so we just take advantage, and we do what we do the best of anyone who does it. So that's how we do.
I'd probably ask if he's talking about all his connections. I'd be like, oh, it's perfect. Do you know if there's anywhere in the city, since you're so familiar with it, that would have any sort of like official library or like archive or anything? Could go look some stuff up in my free time.
Library. Yeah, would I know where a library is?
Yeah, you know
really
that
is. I know it's not
within the
really a
castle
secret.
ward, there's
Does it have ale?
there's a
I think I
couple
beat a guy up there.
There's a couple archives in the
I know
Castle
where-
Ward, as well as in Blackstaff. Yeah, Blackstaff Tower, which is also called Agarion's Tower. That was a different name. I think it's Agarion Blackstaff was some guy who was in it before. That they would have a rather large library, as well as in the City of the Dead, that there's also an archive of sort of records and stuff, and some, I guess, more obscure literature things. So
I'm gonna kind of, when he kind of mentions City of the Dead, I'm gonna kind of ask, like, why do they call it that?
it's the cemetery of the city of over 1 million people. So,
Ah, that makes sense.
or I don't know what the population is. It might be like a few 100,000, but over generations that's been where the dead have been buried, and it's intentionally walled off. Is there occasionally is an undead or two that might wander out of a
Crypt.
crypt.
Or,
So there's the what's known as the Night Watchers, who are a particular set of the city guard that patrol that area.
the Night's Watch.
At this point, I would recount a story of how when we were younger, during the whatever the equivalent of Halloween is in in Waterdeep, the tradition was to run through the City of the Dead at midnight
Yeah.
as
Did
kids.
anybody die doing that?
Of course, all of the kids died. I mean, Thomas, everybody, dude, everybody knew Thomas. He died doing that, and nobody ever saw him again. It was scary, bro.
But do they allow people in there, or is it
No,
guarded?
well,
You're not allowed in there.
you don't.
It's-
Kids aren't allowed in there after at midnight on a.
Yeah. That
So it wasn't the brightest idea.
it's off limits after dusk.
But you can go in
but-
normally.
But it is, even though it's a cemetery, it is actually like a decent park, because it's sort of some of the only green in the area, and there are some nice. Even though they are crypts, they're sculptures and stuff like that. So it is meant sort of like a peaceful getaway within the city, but you don't want to. You're sort of kicked out when the sun starts to go down. So it's
And-
eerily quiet at night, but
Yeah.
it's a pleasant place during the day.
And they had some
Weird
sort
thing
of
to say.
archive or something. So
There,
there's
there is the
one
archive,
there.
because
one in the
it just-
tower and one somewhere else.
yeah.
There's
So,
3.
see if I can find little things I can mark different. Oh, I can draw, can't I? Do I? I'll put. There's there. Say there's a library. Then this is the archives in the City of the Dead.
Okay. I'd probably be interested in the City of the Dead one, since it seems to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said it had weird stuff or whatever.
Well, yeah, that you can ask about it once you get there, but it has
Okay.
an explanation of why that archive is there.
Sure.
Yep. All right.
Well,
so
if we're not doing anything else, I'd probably head over to do that. I don't know what other people are doing.
okay, you guys have finished dinner. It's probably around 6 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm exhausted. I've used up all my spells.
Yeah, if memory serves, Cathod's not looking too good either, is he?
Yeah.
He's a little weary.
I would like to get some rest.
So, where would you guys have tonight, all of tomorrow, and then tomorrow night? What would you like to do?
First, I'm just gonna call it a night. Try to get a place to stay.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess I'll go with him to we can establish our inn that we're staying at or whatever.
I'm
Um,
gonna ask Cedric
Hmm?
about an emblem.
Okay.
From a little scrap of fabric I have in the bag. It's got like
yes.
a little. It's a falcon, I think. Hold on.
Yeah, it's a
Whatever.
falcon.
It's a falcon on like a blue field, and I want to see if he recognizes it all or if somebody.
That given he's with a caravan that's traveled quite a few places, he says, I don't know exactly whose it is, but I do know that looks like one of the banners of a knight of Semerity.
Semerity.
Yep.
Where is Semerity?
Well, if you look on the map, Semerity is this
Kind of
country
far.
right there.
It's kind of far.
It's a ways away.
A little bit.
Yep.
I stuff it back into my pack dejectedly. But at least it's a clue.
Why not?
And
Yeah. Now you actually have sort of a name of a place to head to, and how you came across that banner is kind of interesting given the distance, but
yeah, considering where I found
at
it.
least got some direction.
I thank him.
Like,
And then-
no problem.
Then,
Oh, go ahead.
does he know anything about the Knights of Semerity?
He'll sort of explain that the Semerity is run by a monarchy, that it's sort of the breadbasket of the continent, and it's a lot of farming, and that while other nations such as Averin and what did I name the other one? We can go to the map. Yep. Averin and Dorndale sort of have more technology and magic to provide for their people as well as their armies. Semerity kind of relies a bit more on its martial prowess with its cavalry and such, so that it takes pride in its knights. That's sort of the both the government structure and military structure is through the knights that govern and lead their armies.
So it's highly martial.
At least their military is that. Think very much sort of like a medieval monarchy as opposed to a fantasy monarchy. That where
Like a
there's
feudal
a feudal
a
system.
feudal?
Yes.
Okay. with serfs.
Yeah, but not. It's not like oppressive. It's just that's sort of their government structure.
Okay.
Help,
And
help,
so-
I'm being oppressed.
Triggered. Well, I guess I'm gonna hit the hay.
Hmm?
Well,
All right. So
because
I
I'm
think
pretty sure
there's
I have exhaustion.
he that said they were tired. That I think Cathod, Salazar, wanted to find a place, and Elrond, you said you wanted to find out where they're going to be established for the night before.
Yeah. I'd probably go with them.
Okay.
But I probably wouldn't stay.
All right. So, just from sort of seeing stuff on the road as well as asking around, you know that there would be sort of inns in various places. The Castle Ward in your immediate vicinity, there you might be able to find something there. Probably the cheapest would be down in the Dock Ward. And also the Trade Wards is more for active business as opposed to staying the night. And then there would also be some stuff in the Southern Ward.
Well, I want to stay in the castle ward.
Okay.
Bonner
Oh.
and Thonner are gonna head to their
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
So,
Castle Ward sounds good because it's like in the middle of everything.
Okay.
Could we? Is that so? The Bonner and Thonner are going south. Does anybody else have anywhere they want to go? Maybe we could find like a central location.
And I sleep with Bonner and Donner.
All right.
you
So-
can.
So,
I follow them.
Cathod and Elrond, you guys want to find an inn in the Castle Ward? Is
Yeah.
that it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say that you find an inn called the Tough Kid that shows like a small goat, like boxing, and that's the green dot.
I already like it.
That's adorable.
I think to myself, good luck with that.
It's rustic, but it's got some, good sort of pleasant folk in there that are blue collar, but decent. I think that'll cost you like a gold apiece a night, so not too much.
Do we need to keep track of it, or do we just assume that we just get reimbursed?
Essentially, you can tell Sildar he'll take care of it,
Okay.
and that's definitely within the budget that he'd be willing to cover.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna stick with the natives.
okay, so Bonner, Thonar, and Salazar, you guys head on down through to the south and travel about as far as you've already traveled from the top of the city to get to much more familiar setting. The sun is kind of not setting, but it's sort of getting low on the horizon, and the city, there's some torches and lanterns being put out in front of places. And down by the docks, you can hear more of the ocean on top of things.
Does it smell like fish?
It smells a bit like fish, yeah. And
Thank
Salazar,
God.
the further you get south, especially since it's the onset of evening, and that sailors and stuff are probably hitting taverns. Very much more rough and tumble crew down here. That you see people with all sorts of tattoos and scars, missing limbs, potentially eye patches, all sorts of folk down here.
There's also a street called, well,
Called what?
it's
Whatever
not
it's-
polite.
Oh yeah, that's the Red Lantern District.
Yeah.
Hey man, sailors, any port?
Good business.
Yeah. Lonely sailors. There's that, and so you get
Wonder
down
what
to the
Salazar
south,
must be thinking of all this.
where Salazar, you can see in the distance that there's a whole bunch of different ships and stuff docked up. You can see the masts rising above the skyline of the city, and you're getting closer and closer, and you can see them sort of bobbing up and down, and you're pretty close to the harbor there. And then the doors sort of turn a corner, go up an alley, and there's this sort of nestled amongst the other buildings there. It's sort of a haphazard. There's anything from a house to a fishmonger to, I think a bakery. There's just a whole bunch of, there's not so much as rhyme or reason and layout of the city as there were in the richer wards. It just seems people build their business where there's an opportunity or where there's a house, and that's how it goes. And they go into this small little building, and
Welcome to our home. I mean, business. Well, it's a little of both.
That's good business sense.
yeah, and you open the door, and it rings a little bell. Assuming there's like a sign that says D6 or something, and it's got like the full name engraved on it. There's a
Yes.
little.
Why is there a sack of flour that's marked as XXX?
That is our high quality flour.
As you enter, there's a little bell that rings, and you see sort of various things that it doesn't look exactly like this, but there's like a lot of like crates and boxes and stuff that looks like you could pack stuff, a pair of scales to weigh things, and at the end of the room, there's a staircase to one side that goes up, and as well as a door leading down into the basement. But at the end, there's a desk, and all around the room, that packaging stuff looks all very kind of haphazard, and there's like some straw tossed here and there you can pack stuff in. But at the desk, everything is absolutely immaculate, and there's all sorts of books and stuff in perfect order, and scrolls, and there's some inkwells on the table there, and all the papers perfectly flat. And seated up on top of the desk, in his own smaller desk, very elderly gnome, and he's got just white hair, thin pointy goatee, and sort of looks up as the bell rings. Says, "Oh yes, Elfbanes. Master's glad to see you home. Very glad. We've had a spot of trouble. It seems you've made a friend here." And you see this is Vinny, who is your bookkeeper.
Hey,
And
Vinny.
My
yes. No,
cousin.
no,
Vinny?
excuse me. That's Alvin. Alvin is the gnome. Vinny is
okay.
somebody else. He's the one who keeps track of the books, who does the customer service, who handles the finances, and you can tell there's a very distinct difference between what is Alvin's zone, which is very organized, pristine, and the rest of the place, which is a bit ramshackle.
Looking organized as usual, Alvin.
Yes, of course, I do my very best, but those two goon heads of yours, they're not quite so. Exactly, yes. Anyway, I hope that business went well up with your trip with Gundren in Phandalin. You took a bit longer than expected.
Yeah, well, we ran into a bit of trouble ourselves, but, you know us, nothing we couldn't handle.
Yes, I'm very glad, and I think your expertise might be needed back home here. I'm very glad that you've arrived back. And as he's speaking, there's a thud, and two dwarves come tumbling up from the basement, sort of tripping on top of each other as they sort of stand up and dust themselves off. One is very stocky. He's got just black hair, big bushy black beard. That is Keldar, and then another dwarf stands next to him. Who dwarves are sort of known for being stout and thick. This one, he's still short, but he's oddly sort of skinny, but a little lanky for his height. His arms a little longer and legs a little longer than you think would go with his body. He's got red hair, sort of a scraggly beard, much shorter, and his hair kind of pokes out in odd directions.
I like him already.
And that's Vinny. And so
We call him Skinny Vinny.
Skinny Vinny. Points for that. And so Alvin says, exactly, you see what I've been dealing with. And you see that the two dwarves, that they seem smeared and dirty, and kind of like dripping and wet with some sort of goo on them, and they sort of stand up, and they said, and Keldar points to you, Bonner, and says, oh, it's good you're back. Oh, you wouldn't believe the mess that's downstairs.
That's...
And Vinny says, yeah, and it's not our fault this time. It's not our fault. And Alvin says, I don't know about that. Vinny, it is entirely your fault. You're the one who chose that contract. You're the one who brought in that merchandise. And it's immediately after that the problem started. And so Alvin sort of turns to you, Bonner and Thoner, and says, we haven't been able to do proper business for several days due to the difficulties here. Shipments have been sort of out of our reach.
What's going on? Just come out with it. What did you guys do?
That Keldar sort of nods towards Salazar, says, is he cool?
I look at Salazar.
He ain't no snitch, is he?
I
I
kind of
look
look
at
at
them all
Salazar,
dryly.
and I look back and I say, yeah, he's fine.
I roll my eyes. I look at Bonner, I'm like, this is about as what I expected of your employees.
That
Yeah, I said, well, if you want, you can either step upstairs to get freshen up.
Oh no
or...
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. My curiosity is piqued.
Okay.
so
Very
So
well.
Alvin says, well, Vinny, you best explain. You're the one who took the contract, and then I think you're the one who should explain exactly how things happened. So Vinny says, yeah, it's fine. So there was a job for the Wither Skulls, and you would know that the Wither Skulls are a gang that, a criminal organization that sort of has its own rackets and distribution stuff, that they are about acquiring goods on a much larger scale. You guys are more about the delivery, about discreetly, moving things here and there. They actually
Exactly.
sort of produce and supply disreputable materials and supplies elsewhere, and might forcibly acquire some at points, but nothing too horrendous. They're known as the Wither Skulls because they tend to they're known to sort of operate underneath the City of the Dead. Yeah, the Wither. I don't know what accent to sit on, but yeah, Vinny would be kind of like this. Yeah, the Wither Skulls that they needed some supplies, moved out of the city. You know, pretty standard stuff. And so we get the stuff. Their guys come in. We put it down in the basement, and everything seems great. We got a good contract. They're willing to pay. They're good businessmen. And so then the next morning we come in, and the basement was a little occupied, and has been since. And nothing we seem to do can kind of stop them from coming back.
Occupied by what?
He holds up his hands, and you see them dripping and gooey. It's like they're squishy, and they kind of move around like puddles, and they smack you. And you cut them up, and they split into little pieces, and then those little pieces attack you. They're all slimy. We don't know what's going on.
I look at him like, sounds like a job for a fire.
We tried that. They don't burn that well. It kind of sizzles, and they're none too happy. We haven't been able to get to the main supply chamber for 3 days, as well as all the other deliveries we were going to go on are down there too. Me and Keldar here, we haven't been able to make deliveries because for risk of our lives. And Alvin over here keeps insisting we try and break her necks down there, and tell him we're doing our best, but he's just happy to sit in his little corner where everything doesn't have a spot of dust on it.
Well, I think we should probably go take a look at this and see exactly what we're dealing with here.
And he says, "Yeah, I'm my guest." And you look at him, that he's dirty stuff. You also notice there's like several bruises, like here and there, that are visible on his face and his arms, as well as on Keldar. That they seem to be in good spirits seeing the two of you, but they've been having a rough go trying to figure out what to do.
You know what? Maybe these things aren't going anywhere. Maybe we get a good night's rest.
I'll tell you this. We can at least get a look and not have to deal with them. But,
okay, then yeah, let's do that. Let's do that option.
Oh, I can't wait.
They seem to be pretty content to stay around the supplies.
Because I've already started refreshing my short rest things.
Yes.
Or long rest things.
All right. So now we are
In
basement
the
of D6.
The basement.
Dun dun dun.
And so then also Honor will go with you. And I don't actually have tokens for Vinny and Keldar, but I'll say they go with you. Yep, and Salazar, you're on there. And so there's the regular basement, but you know that if you push a panel over here, that's not just a shelf there. That moves out of the way.
I go to the discrete panel and and I operate.
You push it.
I operate the mechanism.
Okay, and so that what looks like a bookshelf sort of just slides to the side, and there's an entrance, sort of little tunnel into, rather than the cobblestone floor of the basement, that there's a sort of dirt pathway into the tunnel.
All right.
All right.
And Thonar's here with me. So,
Yep, he's there with you.
So we're there. We're gonna give it the old dwarven peekaroo.
And you can sort of hear some rustlings and like sloppy, and you also see like the gooey footprints of Keldar and Vinny leading back away from this area, and you sort of peek around the corner, and you see was a little bit familiar sight.
Yeah, I think
bunch
we've seen
of
these before.
Oozes are sort of pushing around through the area. That there's a couple rats that they're digesting in the middle of them, but it's a mess. There's sort of broken supplies here and there, and there's at least 3 that you see there.
How would they be transporting these? Makes not a sense.
And you can also see there's like grease spots on the ground where you think Vinny and Keldar have like squished a few of them, but there seems to
those
be
nuts.
at least 3 in good health as far as you can tell for oozes.
I looked at Donner and I say, well, we didn't hire them for their combat abilities.
Keldar a little.
Yeah, a little bit. But these, we've seen these things. They're not.
Yeah.
3 of them. That's gonna be interesting. We'll wanna enlist the help of our friends. I think tomorrow, or at least get a good night's rest and heal up.
And I look at him, I'm like, what are these?
Well, it's those goo, the goo that what's his face saved.
Yeah, you fought some goo, some oozes.
Yeah,
You fought a single ooze in the oh goodness, Wayback Cave.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Oh, were you
Andriel
not
was
here
not
for
present for that.
Oh, okay.
Salazar was present for it. Andriel wasn't.
Basically, they came out of the roof and ceiling and stuff. And
They're like
a
good
single
old
one.
swallow us.
they're
And then
good
when
old
you-
Zelda slimes. When you kill them, they split in 2, and then they've got 2
Yep.
smaller ones.
Like Minecraft.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Sure, Minecraft. Everything is Minecraft.
Everything is Minecraft.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Yeah, let's leave that for tomorrow. Go
Can't
get
we
some-
just get like a dehumidifier or something?
I don't know. Can we?
Well,
Do you have a dehumidifier, Salazar?
Listen,
What
it's
is
called a
that?
fire. You start a small fire and just the room up.
well, they already said they tried fire and it didn't
And he
work.
says,
No.
"We tried that. You think
They
that
tried- they
those
tried
things would
fire.
light up like
No,
like
no,
a
no, 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 no. I
candle.
mean, dry them out.
Okay, I mean,
Low
good luck.
continuous fire.
Again, we keep squishing them, it makes the floor all wet. They keep coming back. That I don't know." And Keller's like, "Yeah, they squish pretty good, but they make little ones, and then those little ones smack you. Squish those little ones, and they're gone. And then, just when I think we cleared them out, we come back later that day, and they're still in there."
Oh,
Good old fashioned, just go in there and kill them.
they
Uh,
tried that.
Keldar says, "I mean, what's the harm of one more day?" And he says, "Oh, no. Here's the thing. Yes, we can wait. Let's not get too precious with our time here, because the Wither Skulls, I'm the face they know. I'm the one they're going to come to if they got trouble. And I'd rather not be caught not being able to make the deliveries. So, yeah, we can probably do it in the morning, but let's not delay too long, because it's my butt on the line."
Now, this contract, are these slimy things the thing we're supposed to be delivering?
No, absolutely not. It was some of their standard fare, just some arms and supplies
Okay.
that just needed to not be tracked. Maybe a little illicit material. We say don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah,
They're
I don't need to know
forthcoming
that.
and going stuff. Considering this was our first time in business, they want to make sure that we were able to handle things. So, no, there was nothing about slimes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure before we go killing these things that we're not supposed to be transporting them somewhere, and if we kill them, then we're gonna be basically murdering our first
Well,
job.
even if they are, that's on the Wither Skulls, because they did not properly disclose the nature of their cargo, and as a business, that we should have been made aware of that. So that would be on them. And you do know that even in sort of the criminal underbelly of the city, there's a thing that, an understanding that best business is honest business, even
well,
among
they
thieves.
obviously packaged them. If they were packaged, they were packaged in a way that was not keeping the cargo inside the packages. So
Yep.
yeah, we're gonna kill these things.
I say we
we're just
complain to
killing
Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna get them involved.
Okay. So you guys sort of resolve that you're going to figure that out in the morning.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have, I believe, an Elrine who wanted to go on a mission. So
Is
Elrine,
it still around like 6 o'clock or so?
this is sort of simultaneous. They took some time to go down through the city, and they're having this conversation, trying to figure out what to do with the oozes in their basement. And that you guys sort of check in to the tough kid inn, and you get your room, and then Elrine, it's sort of getting pretty close to not quite dusk, but you know if the City of the Dead gets locked up at dusk, you're probably about an hour and a half at most to be able to try and get to the archive before they start shooing people out of the park. If you're talking, you're muted.
I couldn't remember which one I muted myself on. Yeah, how long, well, would I have any sense of how far away it is?
The innkeeper would definitely be willing to give directions you used to sort of doing that. It'd take you maybe about 10 minutes to get there.
Alright, yeah, I'll check that
So
one out.
it wouldn't be too long.
I would probably, I'd tell Kathad that I was gonna go check it out, because he seems pretty scholarly, but I don't know if he wanted to, he seemed pretty settled in for the night, like he was pretty tired. But I would,
Well,
It's
as a
up to him.
question, Selena, where are you amidst all this?
That is a good question.
Obviously, that you didn't really go with the dwarves to D6. You have the choice of sort of being with the crew at the Tough Kid Inn or going elsewhere. You don't have to figure out everything right now, but keep in mind you'll need to
yeah.
figure out
Alright.
where you want to be. All right. So, Elrine, you sort of make your way through the city. It's also a little disconcerting being on your own. You're not afraid, but it is odd without having any familiar faces in the midst of this city. As well as, but it is sort of getting towards the evening. People are heading to the bars after their long days, and you can hear sort of raucous laughter and music coming from a few of the inns, a few of the
Well,
taverns.
I would have been on my own for, like, it was really, grouping up with these guys would have been the first time in a while that I had not been on my own. So.
Well, it's the fact that you're in a city,
Oh,
and
okay,
there's
okay.
nobody familiar. You got a bunch of people.
Sure.
There's In fact, make me a perception check. Okay, you're good. As you're moving down the street, that some guy sort of trips and reaches towards you to sort of balance himself, and you notice that he sort of tries to grab at your money bag, as you are the keeper of the party funds. But you notice him tripping, and you just sort of using your keen elven reflexes, you've already sort of turned away and caught him and balanced him without him being able to grab at what he wanted.
So I'm standing there holding him now?
Try to
So-
steal his money back.
So it was just sort of he started falling, and you put one hand out to balance him, and then sort of went on your way.
Oh, okay.
So it's just this quick little encounter on the street. But you noticed he was not just tripping; he was using that as an opportunity to reach towards your coin
the old
purse.
money. Alright, I'll tuck it away in a deeper
Okay.
pocket if I have one.
Okay. Yeah.
Got it way up in there, Morty.
Great pot.
All right. So you make your way without other incident in the city, and you sort of get through the gates, and most people are filing out because it is sort of the end of the day, and if they sort of had like a picnic in the park or whatever, that they're headed home from that. There is sort of the more noticeable larger building in the middle that sort of set up square. Think if the Parthenon had like full walls rather than just columns.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that you've noticed that there's the city watch that are the soldiers of the city. There's some stationed here, but their garb is a different color. It's well, the ones amongst the city is sort of this blue and white. That theirs is sort of black and silver. And you
Mhm.
figure that these are probably the night wardens. And
Are they guarding the building specifically, or?
there seems to be more around there. They're not so much guarding as this might be sort of a headquarters that they operate out of.
Oh, out of the city then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would I? Do I know what to look for really? Like, so I'm able to discern that's probably where I want to go.
Yeah. Again, the innkeeper giving you directions. This is
Oh.
very obviously the location that you are intended to head to. That it operates as the headquarters of the night wardens, as well as part of their operation, they have the archives there.
Okay. Are they like those like British guards where they like don't talk, or are they just kind of like walking around?
I mean, they talk. That there's just you notice that it
Like,
seems
what-
to be like their business operations, like their home office, and so
Oh.
some are checking in for their shift. Some people are checking out. It's not like they're like standing rigid. There just seems to be more people coming in and out
Oh,
in that
okay.
particular garb.
So I guess I'd probably want to like find somebody who I could ask like what
Back.
to look for. So like I don't know who I would talk, like if I would talk to one of the guards to find somebody, or if there's like somebody at a desk who can like point me in the right direction.
Yeah, that there seems to be, that there's those guys going out, but there also seems to be like one or two whose job is to sort of guard the entrance to it, and they don't look intimidating. They're not like, eyeing you or anything. They look like they would be helpful.
All right, I'll go up and kind of explain what I'm thinking. Like,
That you're it's like, oh yeah, the archives. They're in there. That we're supposed to be shooing people out in about an hour. But if you know what you're looking for, that one of the librarians in there would be able to help you out, or one of the clerks. Yeah, he can say clerks in there would be able to help you out. And so you go in there, and that there's half of it looks like sort of like a police barracks with like desks and stuff, and sort of some in armory and things, with the armor that they put on and check in and out, and then sort of and the other half is actually like it looks like a library, and there's some people behind desks, and one of them sees you coming in. He's like, yes, may I help you? We will be closing shortly, but I'm willing to get anything I can. Are you looking for a lineage, deceased relative, or some other information?
Something else. I'm looking for just sort of old records. What are the oldest records you have? Also, what is the general? I guess I'd ask them about like, because I know there's several different ones. So like, what's the overall? Like, what the archives deal?
A bit from out of town, supposedly.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that we are a bit of an oddity within the city. That the archives here started as keeping of the various genealogies and keeping track of that, and just due to the nature of the people working here and operating with the books, they started acquiring a collection that got turned into this archive here. So, while it was intent to preserve history and genealogy, that there is some decent information and knowledge here to be had. Some of it deals with the histories, others due to the operation nature of the Night's Warden, that dealing with the unsavory undead and helping them keep essentially it's both information that preserves history, genealogy, as well as information for dealing with the dead and undead and magics of that variety, as well as some of the history to essentially be information for the Night's Warden to access because of the nature of their job. And so, knowing what we had spoken, I mean, they would likely have information that you'd be interested in there.
Okay. Yeah, I'd sort of explain that that's sort of unfortunately what I'm looking for. Dealing with the undead, because I know, and they had some problems around here, didn't they? I'd probably ask about that. Like, how often does that happen?
The clerk says, well, historically, things have been peaceful for a while, just an occasional, you know, skeleton or zombie rising up, it probably due to amateur necromancy. But lately things have been a little more restless. Nothing that we can't handle, but just seems a bit more common in recent, maybe about 6 months or so. But still, yes, that what you're looking for, due to the training of the Night's Warden, we would have a couple of manuals as basic education on the undead, their nature, and how to deal with several different types of them. That'd probably be a good place to start. The particular history that you're looking for, give me a moment. I'll see if we've got one of those tomes available. And so he's gone for about 10 minutes, and he comes back, and in one of them looks like a pretty recent copy that is the basic sort of trainer's manual for somebody joining the Night's Warden, as well as he's like, oh, it's a good thing I was able to find this particular one. This has to do a bit more with history, but it does have a decent section on the Gulthias tree you were talking about. A bit more of a lore nowadays, but because of its connection to the undead, that's why it ended up in our archives.
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Now, I would be able to lend you this. Obviously, because we're closing for the day, you wouldn't be able to take it with you tonight. The manual, you could purchase that one, but the tome, you can make use of it, but it would need to stay here.
Okay. How much is the manual?
I believe that would run about 20 gold.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy it. Yeah, I'll buy
Okay, so you buy that one. That's in your possession. The other tome that you have probably about like 45 minutes before you'd have to leave. Opportunity to sort of get a cursory glance, find a section you're interested in, maybe take a few notes, but you're not able to really get into the full details of that section quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
But you do know that you've got the following day and more time. You also know which volume to ask for.
Cool.
Right.
Sounds good.
What's
that a manual for the guard? What was it?
I call it a Night's Warden Training Manual.
Okay. Yeah, so I just spend time there, kind of looking.
Reading through the one tome that has to stay there as long as you can.
Yeah, kind of just reading so that if I come back, then I'll
know where to pick up.
Important sections, read stuff like that.
Okay.
So I guess that's all I'm doing for now.
Okay, so you got that. Selena, what would you like to do?
For now, I'm just gonna be at the Tough Kid, but
Okay.
yeah, maybe taking like the 4-hour rest.
Okay, so you sort of started your trance, and you've got a quiet room to yourself that you can do that in, and so you'd probably start around like 7 o'clock. So you'd finish around 11, if that's your 4 hours there. So Elryan, you've sort of gotten your information from there. You got your book to study up on, as well as to return and study later.
Sorry, what time? How late would the market be open? Would I know that?
That
be closed by now.
The main market with the market there sort of there's some the buildings around are sort of the established places, but there's the open air area in the middle, and that's sort of a slow rotation of people through there as their particular peak business hours are in there. As you were passing, it was towards dinner time. That's why all the food merchants were in there. It would probably be some form of entertainment troupe or festivities for the evening. People. Not quite. I'm thinking like, what's the equivalent of a fantasy nightclub? It's essentially like the nightlife. That's the phrase I'm looking for. Like more towards people having entertainment and having fun in the evening, as opposed to whatever. There might be maybe a production of play or something going on that it's like the movies that people will go to, to get away from whatever. So it currently wouldn't be too much product
like
business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not right now.
All right. Well, I mean, I wouldn't know that, so I'd probably go there.
Okay. So you go by and that there's one particular area that's sort of there's a stage, and you see similar to what the gypsies were doing, but it looks like a bit more a production value as opposed to some cheap costumes to play the different parts. It's actually like full on production, and it's a history of something or another, as well as that there's some where there was food merchants, there's now various alcoholic merchants or nighttime snacks to go along with that. It's not so much meals as it is I don't know treats.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's like candy vendors and I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get the idea. It's more or less entertainment food
yeah.
as opposed to meal food.
Popcorn, cotton
Yeah,
candy.
popcorn, cotton candy, fantasy cotton candy from the fantasy Costco.
Exactly.
Alright, yeah, I'd probably just wander around there for a little bit and then just head back to
The tough kid.
the old tough kid.
Okay. So you get back there, and Selena's supposedly turned in for the night. Cathod's settled in. That's that. Back at D6, you guys sort of strategize and settle in for the night, try and get some rest.
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
So
I'm
Oh, sorry.
don't worry, I'll get back to you, Selena. Yeah. Bonner and Thoner, you guys have your old rooms up there. You've only been gone like 2-3 weeks, so it hasn't been too terrible. So there's not too much dust, but you're back in. The room's a little cramped, but it's familiar and it's home, and it's your place that you own, so it's sort of a point of pride. Right, and that you can find a bed mat and some floor space for Salazar if he's interested in sort of being on the sleeping bag on the floor.
Yeah, I find him a little nightlight.
Yep. All right, Selena, that you've sort of had your meditation, your rest, and it's now very dark outside. You're kind of set for the night. For the day, you've had your meditation. Your mind is clear. Your rested. Your energy is back. What would you like to do?
I want to go find information.
Yes,
So
we've discussed this.
first,
Yep. Go ahead.
first, I'm going to put on a different outfit and take out maybe my red brand cloak.
Okay.
Oh,
You're gonna put that on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not the same sort of outfit you walked into the city. You sort of take a moment to make sure that from a passer's glance, they wouldn't recognize you as sort of the same person that's an outfit, red brand cloak on,
Yeah.
and you walk out into the street, and it's late at night. Again, it's a city, so it doesn't quite ever sleep, but the streets are a lot less crowded and plenty of shadows to move through. And you're sort of headed to get information. Okay, so you take a moment and been to this city before. It was about 60 or so years ago. But this is one of the places where you first got to run missions of your own, on your own. Nothing too important, but it was the fact that you were trusted to operate without being seen, without being caught, and you got a little familiar with the ways of the city. So you go and you find a familiar alley, you dart down it, and you find the sewer grate, and sort of pop it open, slip in real quietly, and then go down into the Undercity. And it's not a pleasant smell, but you know that this is one of the best ways to move unseen through the city. And you make your way, quietly and carefully. Make a stealth check.
Okay. Um,
Oh, 28, nice. So, it's been a while since you've been here, but you seem to remember every step of these passageways below the city. And you even sort of, you hear some other of the denizens using these tunnels, and you're able to avoid them, completely move unseen. And you get to an area where it's less of the, sort of sewer tunnels and more actual, like, travel tunnels. and and it's even lit, and people are moving openly. And even though that this is sort of known as the underbelly of the city, that people aren't making an effort to sort of skulk through here as some of the other people that you had passed earlier. And you make your way to a familiar tavern called Durakovel, in Dwarven to mean the whispered song. And there's some people moving in and out. Pretty much everybody in cloaks of some form with a hood up. Some darker, most of them dark colored. Yours is sort of the stained dark red. And that at the entrance that there's a contingent of 4 guards there, as well as the oh yeah, there's a magic orb set in the wall right by the door to be able to enter into the tavern. And as people pass in, they have to wait right in front of the orb, and then it sort of glows a bit blue, and then they pass in. And the bouncers make sure that they each have to wait their turn in front of the door going in. And that as one person passes in front of it, that the orb swirls, then sort of glows red, and immediately the bouncers grab them, and they sort of pull the hood down, and that in the orb there conjures an image of a face, and it's not the face of the person there. And one of the bouncers says, "All right, you know the rules." And then the illusion magic on the person dissipates, and it's the face displayed on the orb. Is like, "We told you. You only get one chance. Once you're out, you're out." And sort of shoves the person away from the tavern. And they're definitely not allowed in. And you see all the other guards have their hands ready to draw their weapons, and the person who is caught with the illusion just sort of puts his head back up and wanders back out into the darkness. Sort of walk up, there's the 4 guards there. The orb swirls, turns blue, and you're allowed inside. Oh yeah. Got the proper...
Are we just gonna? That
go ahead, honey.
background.
Hmm?
Is the background noise still going on? In
Oh
a
yeah,
tavern?
that was sort of the city sounds. All right, so now we're now in that Durakovel, the Whispered Song Tavern in the Undercity. Okay. And that there's people in various places in the tavern. It's actually decently spacious, and this is all completely underground. And there's the bar there with the different things, and everybody's sort of keeping to themselves. And in this city, even amongst the underbelly, this is neutral ground. That's what Durakovel is known for, is even amongst all the different factions, regardless of what rivalries or difficulties are going on between people, you don't bring any of that controversy into Durakovel. This is a place for all of the different criminal businesses to operate without interference, because even if there are disagreements, that you still need to be able to have some civil business done without worrying about being stabbed in the back. All right, and so you're there, and you also know it's customary that to make a purchase if you are visiting. So that there's the bar there, there's a variety of foods available, a variety of drinks. And,
okay.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, do you have a picture of the tavern?
I not.
No, I was just wondering because I didn't know if you.
Here's the marketplace. Yeah, I didn't grab a tavern picture to put there. That are you looking for something particular about the layout?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what was in front of me, if you had one or not. But that's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, the sort of through the door you open up, you go through, and that sort of on the left side of the tavern, there's a pretty long bar, and there's several bartenders and a large variety of alcoholic beverages behind them on the wall, as well as you see a few stoves in operation to be able to make food, and there's smells wafting through the air. Again, this is like midnight, and this place seems to be in full swing. And that one of the sort of benefits of the size of this place is that everybody can sort of be a bit more isolated, have their quiet conversations. That's the whispered song. You get entertainment and quiet, and you can sort of there's because it's been so long, you're not particularly familiar what factions or what operating and who's in power in the city anymore. So you're not able to sort of recognize who belongs to what organization, but trust there's sort of all types in here. So, you like to make a purchase at the bar, which is usually the custom when going there, sort of to pay the fee for having a safe zone and protection.
Yeah, I'll just walk over to a stool, sit down, and just motion a drink or something.
Okay. Anything in particular? Or nothing of consequence? Okay, it's a beverage of. And so you get that, and again, bartenders super quick, also very discreet. No conversation. They let you be. They know that this is a place that if you need to talk, you'll talk, but otherwise to be left alone. And so you're given a moment to sort of just sort of sip your drink and quietly watch the room. And you also notice there's a lot of other people doing sort of the similar stuff that even in this place, people watch their backs. And you're seeking the information we had talked about, so you're sort of biding your time, trying to find the best people to talk to that might know something about Averin. And you notice there's a few sailors and a few other people in this one group. One of them has not like an emblem or anything that would say he's from Averin, but you can sort of tell by the way he's talking in his accent that that's the area that he's from. And amongst the group, there's a couple other sailors, and sort of he has his hood up, but there's a man with a sort of trimmed gray beard, and a half orc beside him, and that they're sort of talking discreetly. Not that their group's closed off; they just seem to be having their meal here. But you surmise that they'd likely be from or have dealings with Averin.
Okay, I wait until I think they're like good into their meal and most of it's gone, and I just casually take my drink and just walk over there, kind of in like a flirtatious way, and just like sit down next to them if there's a spot open. Or
you said kind of, or not in a.
Yeah, kind of in a flirtatious way.
Okay, and is your hood up or down?
It's down.
Okay, because you're being flirtatious, you're kind of, being pleasant, and so you walk over there, and you get a few smiles. That it's like 5 different men, and so the company of a lovely elf as yourself is welcome, and the sort of a burly sailor there, and he says, "Hey there, lass, can I get you another drink?"
No, but I was hoping you could fill me in on a few details. You guys look like traveled men. I was wondering if you ever been to the town of Averin.
The city.
Okay, the city. Yeah.
That if you've been recently by Averin, I assume you're saying. Yeah. And that the 2 sailors say aye, as well as the man with a sort of the white beard in the hood sort of nods, says, "We have dealings, yes. If you're looking for information, that this round's going to be on you." And he sort of points to the drinks. Essentially, he's offering, if you buy them a round
Yeah.
of drinks, he'd be willing to talk. Okay, so here's the thing about Duracovel that I forgot to, when you purchase a drink, that in order to operate this establishment underground and to make sure it's secure, well, prices are a bit more expensive here. So your drink would probably have been a full gold, as well as for each of them it's going to be, you're probably running a total, a tab of 10 gold just for drinks. So if you mark that off in your inventory. So you sort of flag down one of the wait staff and order a round for them. And so, that sort of carry on some small conversation. They talk among themselves, sort of finish their meal off, and then the next round of drinks arrive. And each take a big old sip from it. And one of the sailors says, "All right, what do you want to know? We've been to Averin. Actually got in last week."
So pretty recent. I was just wondering if you knew or have heard of mention of the name Erwin by any
Erwin.
chance? Erwin.
That the two sailors sort of, look at each other, and then the half-orc sort of, they seem caught in thought for a bit. They're like, Arabin, and what business is he in? And they're trying to rack their brains, and the man with the white beard sort of says, "Aye, I know him. Not many know him by that name nowadays, but I remember him from a while ago. Doesn't go by that name anymore. Calls himself the King of Shadows. And seems to be pulling in a lordly amount of business lately, too. But, used to be just a discreet operative. Now it seems you're looking for business to be done in the city. The number one person to go to. He's not working alone either. He's got a small army working for him. So that would be news to you, that you remember, you had worked under him, that there were others that were training, but for the most part, there were very few people actually running missions. The fact that the business is booming and now he's the number one go-to person, and that he's got a large number of people working for him, it seems that he likely pulled the trigger on sending out many people. Not just people who have been training for years and years and years, but everybody within the school. If the implication of those numbers is to be believed.
And how did you come to know this?
Says, that's pushing a little far. Essentially says that discretion is the specialty of Duracovel. My business is my own. But I'll tell you this, that a bit more turmoil brewing underneath the surface in Averin, and in Waterdeep and elsewhere in the world, than there has been lately. That there's some talk of some conflict on the border of Semerity and Dorndell. Some of those old grudges are flaring back up, and words to be believed, two of them might go into a slugfest pretty soon, and that's got everybody on edge. Well, some people, such as ourselves, might benefit from the business to be had in that. Others are not too keen to see the world torn asunder again. Essentially, that those two countries had maybe like 50, 60 years, or probably been like about 60, 70 years ago, that there had been a territory dispute where Dorndell had tried to. There had been a famine in their land, and they were trying to get food and better farming land. And Semerny had seen sort of the refugees moving in to get better farmland as an invasion, and there had been a war that resulted. And that had been sort of patched up where Dorndell had stood their ground and kept hold of the land they had, and Semerny had to kind of concede that they had won it. So there's been some tensions between the two, and he's saying that the apparently old grudges are coming back, and there's whispers of war, and that's got people nervous about things. And whenever people are nervous, they like to take out the things that make them nervous. Thus the increase in the business for King of Shadows.
And then I don't want him to stop telling me information, so I just quickly apologize and say I didn't mean to intrude or.
Well, yeah, he understood.
Oh, okay.
He didn't. He's glad to give you information about the situation, but he was going to tell you about his business that allowed him to know this.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he was saying. I'm not going to let you know that, but he's willing to tell you about why Arabin has been getting business. Why, essentially, you know what business he's in, and why people would hire him is because they don't want other people to be alive. And it's sort of the political unrest that's underneath the surface as sort of people are expecting there's this conflict on the horizon. So with that coming up, that people know there's political power to be gained, political power to be snuffed out to protect themselves, and that leads to booming business for the King of Shadows. Anything else you would like to know, little one?
I think that's all for now. Thank you.
Alright. Walk in the shadows, watch your back, as we all do. So they, sort of turn back to their meal, their drinks, and they continue their conversation. I assume you've gotten what you needed and you discreetly get up?
Yeah, I walk away and now I put up my hood and I leave the tavern.
Okay. As you leave the tavern, the orb swirls blue as you pass by. Nobody seems to worry about you. Then
I
you're
wink
off
at
back
it.
into the night. You wink at the orb. It
Yeah.
doesn't respond. Right, and you sort of trace your steps back discreetly to the surface of the city, where it's probably like 2 a.m. by now, and it's pretty dead, and you make your way back to the inn. Roll a stealth check. Okay. Nobody seems to have noticed you slipping back in, though Elrine and Cathod, both of you make perception checks at disadvantage.
Damn, read my book.
Okay, yeah. But, you are engrossed. You actually do have quite a bit of information at your fingertips that you'd probably be very interested in. So yeah, neither of you hear Selena return to her room. You didn't even know that she had left, but yeah. So you guys spend the evening getting your rest. Elrine, you dig into the Night Warden's manual, and sort of this is going through some, it's familiar information of sort of what's generally known about, skeletons or animated skeletons. It's necromantic magic, zombies, da 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 da, and it's sort of going through some of the mechanics of how to deal with them, as well as where they're from. That you haven't gotten to any of the sections about the more exotic types, but you at least have a start into that sort of information.
Cool.
Right, so everybody rests for the night in their various locations, and I think we can pick this up next week right there.
Oh man.
Yay, city life. So, I know we didn't have any combat, but I think everybody did a bang-up job. I'm going to give everybody 300 experience for the night.
Nice.
300?
Oh baby,
300?
Yeah.
300,000.
Yes, 300,000. You are on now level 37.
Yeah.
Worth.
You are imbued with godlike power and decide I can do anything I want.
Fireballs for everybody.
So does that mean you're giving them fireballs, or you're just killing them?
Take them right to
You
the
turn the
face.
planet into a sun.
Yeah. Woo.
Do I give Thoner half of that?
Yeah, give him 150.
Okay.
Uh,
Gotta do
I
math.
turned into Doctor Strange and just start warping
Yeah.
reality.
Gretchen and I got to go see that. It made me realize, yeah, I could describe Cathod's spells a lot cooler because there can be like runes and this and stuff going on. It can't just be, oh, you conjure some ice. It can be like you're chanting and conjuring these symbols in the air and then this energy pulse. Yeah, it could be a lot more
That'd be
interesting.
Super sweet.
That's
Yeah.
a great movie.
Now, did you
Yeah, it
say?
Yeah.
Did you? I think you mentioned something about a bonus. Did I get a bonus XP?
Yeah, what was it that you
Can't
did?
remember what it was now. Oh, Skinny Vinny.
Yeah,
Skinny Vinny. Yeah, give yourself an initial 50 experience for that.
Yeah.
Any little bit helps.
Skinny Vinny. Yep. So yeah, I've been looking forward to introducing Vinny, Keldar, and Alvin.
They're fun.
I've been looking forward to that too. I'm glad you. Alvin worked out. That's a good name for him.
Because you can almost imagine people, the other two, yelling it and him just like not giving a crap. He's like,
Yep.
so what? What are you going to do? Fall in the dirt again? Yep. So, yeah. But,
So I guess we kind of have an idea what we're gonna do next time.
yeah, you've got some things to do. I've got at least a little direction for. I was like, oh goodness, there's a whole city. They could go anywhere. What do we do?
Yeah.
Sort of contingency plans for this and that.
I just had a thought. I don't know if it would work out for you because it may require more prep. But having a list, like if we did want to do like item shopping as far as magical items, if
Mhm.
you had something like that we could look at beforehand, so we don't spend like next week.
Okay.
Spend like half an hour just looking at items. We can just know ahead of time, like, oh, this is more or less the type of thing that I want to look for. I don't know if just a thought that popped in my head.
Yeah, that I might. Well, I'll have to think of where they would be best procured, as well as what might be available.
And I don't
keep
know
in
that
mind-
we
think of some
have
stuff if
how
I have
much
any
money we
ideas.
have.
Yeah,
as
I don't know
a
how much money you have, but
We have
significant magic
1,200 gold in the party fund.
items. Not to put too much of a stopper on that, but like a single heft. Let's see,
Yeah, magic items are pretty pricey.
they're pretty pricey, but
Yeah.
a little bit of spoilers. There's a particular character you guys will encounter who might have some discount magical items available,
All right.
and you may or may not be getting exactly what you pay for.
That sounds even more exciting.
Oh yeah.
Good stuff. So this is again sort of a little bit of story and a little more setup, and we'll get to the fun times when it comes up. I think actually next week I've got a visit to Boston, so we probably won't meet, but we'll probably do after that. And I think now that I'm actually back to work and stuff, we might try to aim for an every other week schedule. That's a bit
Sounds
more
like a plan.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool stuff. As well as if at any point there's like something particular that you're hoping your character has an opportunity to do, just sort of give me a heads up, and I'll be glad to sort of see if I can work that in or prep that so I've got more stuff prepared for that as opposed to sort of blindly. You know,
I know
obviously you
Bonner
can't
probably
write a
wants to do
script.
some gambling.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that, Selena, that you did see that there was some sort of dice games and card games going on in called Duracovel. Yeah.
Are they playing D&D? Inception.
Yeah, I remember. I remember there was a post on Reddit. Is it called metagaming? And there was this story, this DM explaining about how the pupils' characters were at this inn, and they asked if there's any form of entertainment, and the innkeeper's like, "Oh, I got the thing for you," and takes him to the back room and sets up this table and gives them each a seat paper. He says, "Here, you are Grogvar, hero of Neverwinter," and da 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 da, and you're sitting in, and so their characters started playing a D&D game within.
That's
D&D.
incredible.
That's pretty funny.
Got the Wither Skulls. We've got
I would be totally into like a side campaign that we if we did that. Like Bonner playing like a little gnome bard or something.
like that'd be a great way if for whatever reason we want to do just like a one shot at some point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had a lot of free time at work, so I just look at random stuff. There's a lot of good, funny Christmas ones. Like Christmas themed, like one shot things that are pretty funny, where you like end up fighting like Santa or Krampus or something crazy. It's pretty funny. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh goodness, what was it? I remember, I think it was end of last year, reading one about how the group encountered Krampus, and one of the things that Krampus is sort of like a different like tide spirit that is evil and like wants to eat stuff and eat people. I think particularly children. And the group's bard ended up convincing them that their children were terrible tasting. There was a nation of goblins and that they were succulent and delicious. And so essentially that they convinced Krampus to go and essentially eat goblins and leave their people alone. So it's just
That's funny.
That's cool.
essentially setting Krampus against their enemies.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've got an ooze-infested basement. We've got the Wither Skulls wondering when their shipment is going to be made. We've got some information from the Knights Wardens about the undead. We've got a city with some magic users be countered and maybe buy some items from. All sorts of options.
Cool.
Good time.
Woohoo.
Alright. Till next time.
Oh yeah,
I'll try
as well-
to send I'll send some stuff to
Oh
you.
sure. As well as I might I've got at least some world building information that would be relevant to Cathod.
Cool.
Might go along with stuff that I might send you, as well as a reminder. Tomorrow the expansion for Hearthstone comes out.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I have one
Super
of those.
excited.
I have an 80 gold quest. I need to play somebody.
Oh sure, hop on.
And yeah, I think both people get 80 gold each play friend.
Yeah. What did I have one that needs to do something. I think it might be play a game with a friend as well.
Goodness, I've just been grinding daily quests for like 3
Yep,
months. I've got
me
like
too.
5,000
Yeah.
gold.
This is the first
Yeah.
time I've ever done that. I almost have 3,000. That's the most. I've never had any sort of like discipline because I just always spent it. I don't think I ever had more than like 300.
I did it
Yeah.
for like I think Whispers of the Old God. I had like 2,000 or
Oh,
3,000 or something.
I don't really even have it. Most of the cards from there.
I just can't
Yeah,
do
well, I
it.
mean,
I can't do it.
Personally,
Yeah.
I had a lot of free time lately, so
Yeah. Yeah, I've just been doing the dailies, especially since they updated them. They're a lot. I feel like they're a lot better now because you get mostly like 50, 60 instead of like 30, 40 or whatever. It
Well,
used
it's
to be.
Yeah.
it's nice that the tavern brawls count towards like when a game has a class now.
Yep.
That's a great way to sort of
Mm.
two birds, one stone, as well
Well,
as
and
super
they add a lot
casual.
of those new ones where you don't necessarily have to win. It's just like play these cards or play these.
Yeah, I
like,
always
play
hated
pirates.
The winning one. That's why I kind of had given up on it, I think, because I
They
was just
changed
like,
a lot of them like a couple weeks ago. It's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Because now it's like I had one that's 50 gold, played like 10 pirates. Like that, I took like one game and it's like 50 gold.
nice.
Yeah, it can get to the point where it's like I think I had one today. Use your hero power 10 times.
Yeah.
So it's like even if you lose, that
Yeah.
you can still like
doesn't
I know
matter.
I'm going to lose this game, but I can like take 2 turns and tap my hero power
Yeah,
and
it,
sort of
I
go
feel
down
like
in flames. And
it like made casual like actually like gave it a place. Because you didn't before, it's just like people are played casual, but they just like played normal decks. Like there really wasn't a difference, but
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
well, folks,
All right, guys.
All
good
right.
times.
Alrighty.
I'll be up for a bit if want Hearthstone quest or whatever.